Hey there, Pukewraiths. So, as I mentioned in an earlier post, I wanted to do a couple of videos just going through, maybe some interesting riffs or parts from Pukewraith songs. And so, I wanted to do the first one today, which was about the tapping part in the organ grinder. And so, kind of a little bit of background on this. The main influence was Cannibal Corpse's song "The Spine Splitter," which is one of my favorite songs from them. And if you know that song, it has this really, really cool tapping part where, it's kind of split into two different parts. One that's, pretty wild, and another part that's even more wild. And kind of the drums and the bass and everything kind of pick up and flow with that. And I've always loved how that kind of went. I thought it was such a neat part. So I kind of wanted to pay homage to that a little bit in this song. I mean, Cannibal Corpse is a big influence for Pukewraith, and I'm just a massive fan of them. And so, the part that I'm talking about, Spine Splitter, I'm shooting out with that. That thing. It's just so cool. And so I kind of took that idea and tried to make my own kind of spin on it for the organ grinder. And kind of going with the song and the story of it, it's, as they're strapped into the gigantic carnivorous amusement park ride called the organ grinder. It's kind of like you're on the roller coaster cart and you're just going up, and it's picking up steam, and then the solo kicks in. It's right as they go over the top drop and are riding it. So that part, kind of like the Cannibal Corpse one, it's broken into two parts. So the first one is a little easier, and all you're going to need, I'm on a 7-string. I'm tuned to D standard, so it's, all D standard, and the low strings in A, so it's... Basically, the way I look at it is you've got your fretting hand and you've got your tapping hand. And you kind of think of those two ideas, put them together for each part, and it's just kind of, flowing with that. So the first part, the slower part, kind of goes like this. And so all that is on the fretting hand is you're alternating between the low A string and then the low G string. And so all you're doing is the 3rd fret and the 6th fret. It's all you're doing there. So for the fretting hand, it starts on the 3rd fret of the low A, then the 6th fret of the G, then the 3rd fret of the G, and then the 6th fret of the A. So it's kind of like you're doing... It's that kind of motion. And that's all you're doing on that one. And for your tapping hand, you're doing 15 on the low A, 12 on the G, 9 on the G, 12 on the low A. So it doesn't quite follow the same pattern or shape, kind of like this is like a little bit of a rectangle, whereas this is like a rhombus. But it's following the same strings, whatever string your tapping hand is on is the same string that your fretting hand's on. So like that. And then all you're doing is you're throwing in pull-offs of the open string in between each one. So slow, it's 15 open, 3 open, 12 open, 6 open, then 9 open, 3 open, 12 open, 6 open. And that's it. It's just that, kind of over and over. Just like that. And that's it. That's the first one. That's all you do over and over. And then when it picks up speed, it's, it follows that same idea. You're just, instead of doing 16th notes, you're doing 32nd notes. So you're just kind of throwing in a bunch of extra stuff, a bunch of hammer-ons, pull-offs, and tapped notes to kind of fill up that space to make it, like double time. So basically all you're doing is, you're tapping fingers staying at the same spots. It's doing the 15, the 12, the 9, and the 12 again. Fretting hand, if you think of the bass notes, and by bass, I mean, like kind of the lower end note where your index is going to go, it's that same thing. Third, sixth, third, sixth. But again, we got to fill up that space. So what I'm doing is instead of just, like you would for that first one, you're doing. So what that is same thing, you're doing tap and a pull off, but then to fill it in, you're doing just that, the usual minor third kind of shape. So that third to sixth fret kind of shape. And then you're going to fill that in with tapping again, and then pulling it all off. So it's it's a pretty recognizable and usual tapping kind of shape, that kind of thing. It's just, and then you just follow that same kind of idea from the first part. You're just moving that around. So, where it's 15, and you think of like your fretting hand is doing the third and the sixth. Then when you hop up, 12 with your tapping hand, then with your fretting hand, how you normally do the sixth, you're just gonna anchor on the sixth, and hit the ninth for that, minor third shape. So. And then similarly, you're tapping on the 9, you're anchoring hands on the third, so you're gonna have that sixth as that minor shape there. And then, same thing, we're going back down to the 12th fret with the tapping hand, and your anchor is gonna be on the 6th, which means the 9 is gonna be that shape. So then, putting it all together, it's that's it. So it's just like building off that first, it's just adding that. And and that's it. Hopefully it's fun. Like I said, it's kind of my take on that Spine Splitter part. If you don't know Spine Splitter, go listen to it. It's like, one of their best songs, maybe my favorite song. I don't know. It's up there. Sanded Faceless is pretty damn good too. But yeah, that's it. So here, I'll play along with it. Why not? Go have fun, and hopefully I'll get some more Pukewraith news coming up soon, and maybe I'll do more of these. I don't know. We'll see. But hopefully you enjoyed it. Take it easy.